$61 million required for this project. There is 8.3 from the province, supposedly, 559,000 in fundraising, which will be matched by the city, which make just over $1 million. 8.3 from the province, $1 million plus from the fundraising, leaves us $52 million short of the $61 million, and we're rezoning the property as if that's the most important priority of this community right now. We do not yet have the requisite approval from the Saskatchewan Municipal Board to borrow that further $19 million. What should we be doing first? Finding out whether or not we're even allowed to borrow the money required for the project, or do we post-haste run in and rezone property to which we do not even have a signed option? We're putting the cart before the horse.
Part 3, proposed rezoning. The Municipal Planning Commission recommends, and I so move, that the City Administration commence rezoning procedures for all of Block 125, Plan Old 96 and 99 MJ 06781 from M.1 Industrial Zone Core Service to C.2 Commercial Zone Downtown Core, as shown on the attached zoning map, and further that all expenses incurred with respect to this application be borne by the City of Moose Jaw.
Thank you. And a second. Second by Councillor Chow. Discussion. Councillor Looney.
Thank you, Worship. I would like to move that this be tabled, subject to the fact that we've received the petition tonight with the referendum. This motion is in regards to rezoning the downtown core for the multiplex, and I believe that it's only prudent that this be tabled at this time.
Thank you. Motion to table. Do we have
recorded vote, please?
Do we have a seconder?
I would second the motion. Request recorded vote.
Thank you. All those in favor of tabling? Councillor Swanson, Councillor Looney. Those opposed? Councillor Finlay, Councillor Chow, Mayor McBain, Councillor Schwinghamer, and Councillor Sagal-Henry. Can you be quiet, please? Okay, on the motion, Councillor Swanson.
Thank you. As Councillor stated, this is a motion to rezone all of Block 125 in the downtown area from industrial to commercial, which would facilitate the construction of a multiplex facility. Unlike the previous applicant for rezoning and the subsequent applications for rezoning here tonight, where the applicant is the owner or has a signed agreement with respect to ownership of the property, the City of Moose Jaw, although they have significantly reduced the amount of property they wish to purchase for, at least initially, for the multiplex in that area, there does remain one property for which there is no signed option, and I would think this is a perfect example of putting the cart before the horse to foster the illusion of progress on this project. We're moving forward with rezoning even though we do not even have a signed option on an essential part of the parcel of land. And we have not yet made any significant progress on such important things that should precede rezoning, such as fundraising. As pointed out tonight, of the $10 million required to be fundraised for this project, where the city has generously agreed to match dollar for dollar the first $5 million in fundraising, only 5.59% of the money has been raised in fundraising, and we're to facilitate this by rushing along and rezoning when the most critical component, the demonstration of support from the community through fundraising received by the city so that they can pay bills, remains stagnant at 5.59%, as mentioned earlier, a donation from Molson's and a recent donation from the Warriors. We're putting the cart before the horse, particularly when it comes to the city's portion of funding for this project. Originally it was to be $15 million, $12.5 million of which is to be borrowed. The motion of June 16th increased the city's commitment from $15 million to $34.5 million, $32 million of which will be borrowed. And as will be found out later tonight in a response to an inquiry, we do not yet have the requisite approval from the Saskatchewan Municipal Board to borrow that further $19 million. What should we be doing first? Finding out whether or not we're even allowed to borrow the money required for the project, or do we post-haste run in and rezone property to which we do not even have a signed option? We're putting the cart before the horse. Same with the aspect of funding from the federal government. We have no word from the federal government. We're in the midst of an election. There is a significant amount of money that's to be required from the federal government. We do not have any word on that, but we are rushing ahead to rezone property to which we do not have title or even a signed option. We're putting the cart before the horse to foster this illusion that this is moving forward, the new cliche of the 21st century. We're moving forward. My colleagues on council want to try and look like we're moving forward, spending as much money on project managers, rezoning applications, without the real work of fundraising and the monies coming from senior levels of government being determined, so that when we do get around to having a vote that would be required by the petition tonight, their argument will be, look how much money we have spent. And this rezoning should not be occurring until the significant community support demonstrated by fundraising is attained and word comes from the federal government. Because right now, at $61 million, the only committed funding in place after 4 years, and I heard Councillor Schwinghamer before the meeting refer to SaveMooseJaw as becoming the laughing stock of the nation over this project. Well, I would suggest, after 4 years of winning every vote, not to have any of the fundraising in place, not to have the federal funding in place, not to have the land locked up, and we're rushing ahead to rezone. $61 million required for this project. There is 8.3 from the province, supposedly, 559,000 in fundraising, which will be matched by the city, which make just over $1 million. 8.3 from the province, $1 million plus from the fundraising, leaves us $52 million short of the $61 million, and we're rezoning the property as if that's the most important priority of this community right now. And that $34.5 million we're on the hook for could increase significantly if fundraising does not occur, and what is to give us any hope for that, and the federal government funding. And when we have water lines that are breaking larger in anticipation, and find out later tonight, major water lines breaking, I know that the Building Canada program of the federal government, when it was envisioned and funded, it thought more of replacing water lines and basic infrastructure than it did about rushing in to replace curling rinks.
Thank you. On the motion before us.
Recorded vote, please.
A recorded vote. Those in favor? Councillor Finley, Councillor Chow, Mayor McBain, Councillor Schwinghamer, Councillor Segal-Hendry. Those opposed? Councillor Looning, Councillor Swanson. Thank you.